Tony, you're a Brewers fan, big Brewers fan.
Huge Brewers fan.
What is your reaction to what happened or didn't happen yesterday?
See, this is why you guys are good radio hosts, because the overreaction from Josh over there is insanity. I was listening driving into the office this morning, and I hear Josh say, this management and ownership doesn't know what a championship would mean to the city of Milwaukee. Bro, they celebrate a team every 5 days that didn't win the championship. They just pulled off the greatest alumni event probably in baseball recent memory. They understand what it means to the city. What I think Brewers fans need to take a deep breath and take a step back is, since Matt Arnold took over the team, now he's had some swings and misses, Matt Bush. Every time he makes a trade, whether it was Devin Williams or Corbin Burns or XYZ, the reaction is always, they gave up too much, they didn't get enough. Every single time, like clockwork. At some point, the same fans who say the Brewers aren't doing enough are the same ones who blindly trust other GMs in our state who don't have the same track record that Matt Arnold does. Matt Arnold has turned really good players. Obviously, Devin Williams is all-star. Corbin Burns is great. But he has turned them into the best team, playing like the best team in baseball. He's made those moves. Quinn Priester, 11 games where he didn't take an L, 9-0. And when they traded for him, I guarantee you 98% of our listening audience right now had never heard of Quinn Priester when the Brewers got him. And the instant reaction is, they gave up the 14th best prospect in AAA Nashville's Saudi whatever. Guess what? It turned out pretty good. So, like, I do think you have to look at Matt Arnold as someone who makes the right decisions to put a really good team together, a competitive team. But also at the same time, too, you have to take into account something that I didn't even know was said, and we should have made a much big deal about. Christian Yelich told them these are the guys we want to go to war with. And at some point in a team sport, you have to listen to leadership like that. I know he's a player and he's not the GM, but those guys know, man. Like, they know that trading Josh Hader in the middle of the season completely ruined that season that year. They know the dynamics. They know these things. I am a huge pessimist when it comes to Wisconsin sports.
Can attest.
But let me tell you, when it comes to this team, just have faith, man. Like, this team started off 0-4 and they were embarrassing themselves to start the season. Chill, everybody. Chill.
I guess if your message here is to chill, then, like, that's great. But this is about winning World Series, and this is about getting your hopes up and having expectations and being competitive, which is a word people keep using. I think is also a word people use when they want to say, yeah, we think they're good, but we know they're not good enough.
But Josh, they just went 8-1 against the Dodgers and Cubs over 9 games. So what
are they going to go 8-0 in the playoffs?
What about this roster tells you that they can't win a World Series? That they can't. Let's just even say, what about this roster tells you that they can't get to the World Series?
Watching other teams who've won World Series and the top to bottom strength of their lineups. I mean,
Seattle's the only team that made a move that might put them over the top because they have pitching as good as Milwaukee's, if not better. I'm not super familiar with their bullpen, and their lineup is full of power.
Yeah,
that's the only team that made a move. Did the Cubs do anything of note?
No, but
they traded for a pitcher with a 7 ERA, and guess what? Their fans are pretty happy about it because they're very, very good right now.
I'm never a person who's going to worry about the prospects that get traded. I've seen Matt Laporta get traded and end up being nothing. I'm never one that's going to complain about a team taking risks and moving all the chips to the center to say this is the year. I don't think when you boil it down to postseason baseball is way different than regular season baseball. I get it. I don't think the Brewers have the horses to compete with the teams like the Dodgers. I do think the Cubs, as currently constructed, not today, but when they meet the postseason, are a stronger, deeper, better team.
And I see what you're saying there. The Cubs bullpen is an absolute disaster. If you get to that pen 5-6 innings into the game, you're probably going to beat them. Their lineup is loaded with guys who have home run power. Their OPS isn't extremely high. Also, if you got the best pitching staff in baseball, I like our odds there. I think it's just one of those things where baseball in itself, too, is a chess game. And I'm not worried about not mortgaging the future and all of those things. I fully just believe the Brewers have a very, very solid roster. Yes, you want a home run hitter, but if Contreras and Yelich get back to even remotely close to what they've been in the past, there's your big bats are back.
Yeah.
Like there's the potential is right there.
Yeah, all I think it takes, though, for the Brewers to end up on the wrong side of a playoff series is one bad week from one of those good top 3 pitchers.
But that happens. I've watched the Cleveland Guardians win 100 games in a season and not win a World Series. Like the Yankees haven't won a World Series in 15 years, and they have the biggest bats in the world.
Right. What my issue is not that I don't think the team as currently constructed is good.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think it's good enough, and I don't really care what Christian Yelich has to say. It's great and all, but I've also seen a quarterback who tried to GM a team and how that ended up going, and that's not really the way to build it. I don't believe that adding somebody is going to ruin any sort of clubhouse chemistry. I think detracting from it.
But to add, you have to subtract. You have roster. Like you have to get rid of somebody to add. And that's not saying you add XYZ player that Joey Ortiz is gone from the team, but he's gone. His defense is gone.
Yeah.
You know, that Caleb Durbin's bat is then gone. I just think that you have to always take into perspective what you would be losing to add. And I totally get what you're saying, but how often in baseball, last year's different, the Dodgers won it all. I don't remember in baseball being like, oh, the absolute best roster in the sport wins the World Series every single time.
I think it. What for the Brewers to win a World Series is they need all the pieces to align perfectly.
Yeah, but
and
you can make that case for every team.
No, I don't think a team like the Dodgers need everybody to be performing tip top.
That's just different. Like if the Brewers grabbed Suarez yesterday, the biggest trade target out there, would you be sitting here this morning saying this team can go head to head with the Dodgers in a playoff series?
Yes, I would like their chances a lot more. And I don't think a guy who,
even though he hasn't really had postseason success, and he's one of those guys where like he's a rental, you don't know what version of him you're going to get for the stretch.
He wanted a CC Sabathia-esque swing, right? Even if it's a rental.
Every team does every single year.
I understand that, but I think to defend Josh, which I have not done at all this morning, he views this team as maybe a piece away offensively.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
And if Suarez is that answer, great. But he'd rather them take the swing than not take the swing.
Right, I'd rather go out knowing I gave it everything I had with all the assets I have than keep the status quo. And if you look at Matt Arnold's comments, Adam McCulvey tweeted many of them out. He wasn't able to finish a sentence without talking about future years. I don't care about the future years.
I agree with that.
I care about this year. And I think that's instructive. And I think the Brewers are a good team. They're going to be in the postseason. I don't think what they're doing right now signals a team that's committed to winning at the highest level. And I don't think they've anything they've ever done. I think they're more concerned about keeping a team competitive, keeping all the prospects they can to remain competitive. And if they win a World Series, it's we got lucky. That's a nice outcome. I don't think that is their intent when they set out every season.
I don't disagree with that sentiment about the ideology of the team. I just think when I look at yesterday, I don't feel any different about the Brewers had they brought in someone versus if they stayed put, because baseball is that weird sport where, like, do you trade offense for defense? Are you trying to win games 8-6 or 3-4? Like, and that's what I think the decisions that they made were. I also look at baseball every single year and see the Phillies buy the $40 million bat and not win it. See the New York Mets need heroics from Pete Alonso in the last second to beat those Brewers. Like, there are things that the Brewers do really, really well to keep them in games, and they have shown thus far that they've been able to win those games that they've been competitive in, and that's why I really just have faith overall in their ability to kind of it's death by 1,000 paper cuts when you play the Milwaukee Brewers. Are they going to hit a ton of home runs? No. Are they going to single themselves to death and steal bases? Yeah, and that's the recipe they're sticking with.
Do you think what the Brewers did at the trade deadline was for the betterment of the 2025 Brewers or for the Brewers organization?
I think it's probably for the betterment of the Brewers organization, because I would say this. I think if they made a call on Suarez, the response is, all right, give us Mate.
I don't think so. I think when they gave up their 9th best prospect and
wanted
then
to go back to
16th.
Seattle. Like, this was a weird trade.
Yeah,
I don't know.
NL versus AL, right? He goes back to the AL.
The MLB is not. They don't trade the Matt Laportas of the world. The top prospects don't get traded for rentals anymore. That's just changed.
Yep.
the price of relievers went up surprisingly,
and they didn't need to get into that game.
No,
they were fine.
That wasn't anything I was interested in. I don't think you would have lost your top 3 prospects, and I think you would have been able to acquire Suarez. That's what I believe.
And maybe that comes back to bite him. But I look at the addition of Shelby Miller with a sub-2 ERA in 37 games this year, and I'm like, do you know what? Great. You sub him in with Grant Anderson, depending on the batting matchup. I'm totally happy with that. Bolster that pen.
When it comes to the food comparisons, Peter on YouTube says Josh is a lumpy bowl of oatmeal.
That's nice.
Is it Brad Norman's oatmeal?
Might be. Thanks, TC. More Jen gave it to you. Coming up right after this.